Okay, hello everyone, and in this video we are going to focus on getting some suggestions on how to write the first chapter, the introduction of your written report. So I think that the introduction can be a challenge because in a way you need to make sure of what you want to say, but you cannot really say that because you haven't finished your assignment. Some teachers sometimes prefer that you write the introduction at the end, but I think it's good that you write a first version of your introduction as best as you can, and then later you will improve that because many things will remain, but of course it will have to improve later once that you finish doing your research. But let's move forward and let's go section by section where I can give you some suggestions. So the first section that I think it's important to have is the background. And the background answers to this question. Why is the research topic relevant in practice? Why do we need to study it from a practice perspective? And what is the impact that that we want to study in here? Why do we really care? If you think about it, it's like the a practical motivation to do your study. Why this matters in a practical world. So because of that, I think this section is not that hard to write because as I mentioned in the lecture, it's easy to find relevance in practice. It's more difficult the next thing, but this one is easy. And when you write, you can use not only research articles, you can also include news articles or reports from consultancy firms or things like that that kind of support your argument that this topic is relevant. So write like that. Why is this relevant from a practice perspective? You don't need to write a lot. You can write a few paragraphs, one or two paragraphs is enough. Then the problematization is the one that I think is more difficult. In the problematization, I think that you need to be critical and understand a little bit the literature. So maybe this will evolve as you do your literature review. You realize what we know, what we don't know, how you can challenge these kind of things. But try to discuss it in a critical way and try to stay in a theoretical dimension. Try not to bring too much the empirics. Try to discuss the arguments and the assumptions from other research and then try to challenge them with the context of your study. But try not to use references that are not academic. Here in 1.2, use more academic sources to support your argumentation. I think you don't need also a lot of text. One or two paragraphs is enough to create the problematization. Try to identify something that you can challenge, an assumption that maybe the literature assumes that something will work like this and it will work like that. Try to do it like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. I can co-create it with you later when we have the tutoring sessions. I can help you polishing it. There is nothing wrong that if it's short or whatever, just give it a try. And finally, 1.3, which I also think it's easy, it is about writing the purpose of your study. So explain what are you going to do in this project, in this assignment. Explain how are you going to fix that research problem? What is the methodological strategy, which is going to be a mixed case study, sorry, a mixed methodology because you are going to do qualitative and quantitative. And finally, finish with the research questions. And remember, I already told you that for this project, the research questions are very simple. For the quant part, it will be what is the relationship between the independent and the dependent variable, and for the qualitative part is how and why is the independent variable related to the dependent variable. So very simple formula. Maybe later we can improve that if necessary. If not, that works. I think it's a good research question. Simple. It will guide you through all the whole thing, quant and qual. You cover everything, but we can improve later. But I mean, you can start from there. So hopefully this helps. I want just to show in the good example that I have in Canvas. Take a look about how it is written. I think something interesting is that they they do include several references. So I mean, like maybe this came later when they learn more the literature. You don't have to worry that much about references right now. I mean, they will come later as you read more. And then in the problematization, they also use their context of Sweden to challenge some theoretical assumptions. And then in the end, they stated the research questions very simple. So that's it. That's the chapter number one that I think you can already start writing.